Can someone explain to me what just happened? The Cleveland Cavaliers fall to the Boston Celtics for their first loss on the season, 120-117. You can hear the exhaustion, frustration, disappointment in my voice. I can't quite comprehend what I just watched. I know I just watched the first loss in the season. We'll jump into that, why the Cavaliers lost, some bright spots if you can find them in this one, and moving forward, what the Cavaliers have to prove themselves once again in the regular season, and then get it done against the Celtics in the postseason. Hey everybody, Billy Beebe back with you, reacting to the Cavaliers and the Celtics, 120-117, the final. Look, let's go through the regular. Subscribe, and big one on this one, drop down in the comments. Why'd the Cavaliers lose tonight? Explain it to me like I'm a 5-year-old. Explain it to me if I didn't watch, even though I unfortunately did. Why did the Cavaliers fall, take their first loss of the season in a, hold this thought, winnable game? This was a winnable game for the Cleveland Cavaliers. Should have won. Felt like they could have won. Starts in the first half, goes to the second half, down to the final minutes, feels winnable, should be winning, could be winning, not winning, lost. Unbelievable. This was a big game. This was the next box to check. This was the next moment to have for the Cleveland Cavaliers. They didn't come out ready to play. They were getting drained on the three-pointers. I believe 18 of 28 was the stat to begin the game for the Celtics. I want to double check that real quick, as they just could not miss from three. 18 of 28 to begin. At one point, the Cavs rally back right into that second half. What was a 20-ish lead got back down to 6. But look, let's figure out where we want to go with this one. Let's get into the big dog here. This is why you lost. Darius Garland is the reason you lost tonight. If you told me Darius Garland was going to have a bad game tonight, I don't know if I could have cooked these numbers up for you. 3 of 21. You're reading that correctly. You are not misreading that. Darius Garland was 3 of 21, did not hit a three-pointer. He was bad, and he could not identify the fact that he was bad from beyond the arc because he kept shooting. Okay? If you're only making 2s, adjust your game, sir. Drive to the hole, draw some fouls, start distributing more. Please stop shooting. There was this narrative, and the TV kept pushing it. Hit one and get going. No! Drive to the rack. Try something different. Do something different. Sit down. Sit down. Enough. Famously from The Dark Knight, enough from the clown. Sorry. We've been hyping Darius Garland up. He's been better. He's played better this season, and we've all been really excited about it. He was bad tonight. Listening to part of the game, driving up and back, and Jim Jones said, man, and we'll get to the bright spots later in the video, Ty Jerome can play with anyone. Ty Jerome's proven he can play with anyone. Why can't Darius Garland? What is it about the Celtics? He was okay against them in the playoffs last year, certainly not good. And then this was a gigantic game for them, the prove-it game for them, and he was bad. Again, I don't know if I could have cooked up that stat line if you told me he had a bad game. That's a crazy, crazy bad stat line for Darius Garland. And the whole time the Cavaliers are down 4 or 2 or 3 or even 6 or 7, I'm thinking to myself, man, if you get 2 of those Garland buckets back, 3 of those Garland, those god-awful misses, each one worse than the last, those free throws back, that time he spent dribbling around, the confidence he took away from the team. It's killer. It's just the facts. It's killer. Once again, I don't know if you would have told me Darius Garland has a bad game tonight. If you'd have told me Darius Garland has a terrible game tonight, I don't know that I'd draw up that stat line for him. 3 of 21, 0 of 6 from 3, a minus 13 on the floor. Really, really bad basketball tonight for Darius Garland. Cavaliers 120-117. They fall to the Boston Celtics. The other big one in this game, obviously, Jason Tatum came to play. He just did. He looked like a man amongst boys out there. 33 points, 12 rebounds, 7 assists. Probably could add more if they really needed it. Probably could have just kept cooking with that. And the Cavaliers take their first loss on the season. Real quick, fun ride. Fun ride for the Cavs. It was. They had that 15-0, where they were ranked, how they were playing. The fact that they came back in this game was awesome. Really, really appreciated that from them. I liked that they did this. I liked that they cooked back into it. I thought that was the first bright spot. They could have went into halftime and called it, right? As I'm getting the stats pulled up for you, and they're also in the ticker down below. Could have called it at halftime. Could have just decided that's it. We came to Boston. We got our butts kicked. We're done here. Donovan Mitchell, superstar. That's a superstar performance. 35 points. Could have hit more threes. He was 3 of 11 from 3, but every time he was out on the floor, the Celtics, all their attention was on Darius Garland. Donovan Mitchell. Darius Garland's attention wasn't even on Darius Garland. Donovan Mitchell. All the attention was on Donovan Mitchell. George Niang, what a night. I've many times said I don't trust him. I don't think he's playable in playoff situations. They had a little mini run and got back into this game because of George Niang. They needed the threes he hit. They needed the energy that he kind of gave them playing, and they needed it because they had a lot of guys out. Dean Wade's out. Karis LeVert's out. Sam Merrill didn't quite rise to the occasion for them. They needed what George Niang gave them, so props to him. Ty Jerome, I gave you that Jim Jones quote. He can play with anybody. We needed to see it. We needed to see him play in a series like this, in a road game, difficult game, late game situation. Ty Jerome, 10 points, 4 of 5, and 5 assists. That's your guy. That's your man. I wanted him out there instead of Garland late. That's where I was at. Should have been. I'm not sure what Atkinson. I'll be interested to hear the explanation from there. Also, got to give Evan Mobley props. He was consistent. He was tonight the player he has been all season. And that's everything you could have asked him and the rest of the players to be. Be what you have been all season, and you should win. Evan Mobley took care of business there. Donovan Mitchell took care of business there. I would say Jarrett Allen did too, but Mobley, continues to prove he can play with the big dogs, right? He had a moment last year in the playoffs against Boston that you really, really liked. Cavaliers were without LeVert, without Dean Wade. That's a tough group to be missing to injury. Those are guys that were going to eat up minutes, so now you're getting into the Craig Porter, 25 minutes tonight from Craig Porter. That's tough. Now I would say, hey, the Cavs aren't at full strength. Just wait till April, May, till they get to full. Well, they weren't there last year. Dean Wade didn't play in that series last year. Karis LeVert wasn't great in that series last year. It is one of those things, guys, where I don't know that they'll ever be at full strength. I just don't. This is early season. You're supposed to be at full strength right now. I know the Celtics were, and they played like it, and they looked like it. Drop down in the comments. Is Garland's the main reason the Cavaliers lost tonight, right? Can he get it together? Is Boston his kryptonite? Is the moment his kryptonite? Is any sort of big, good basketball too tough for Darius Garland? Is it the lack of depth? Is that why the Cavs lost tonight? Is it in the clutch? They missed a lot of shots in the clutch, not just Garland, but a couple other players. Let me know down in the comments. We'll be reacting in the coming days. We'll be watching the Cavaliers closely as the season goes on, so be sure to subscribe to Cavs Digest.